All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Laser Brains. This is the podcast that reviews every science fiction and comedy film ever made. I'm your co-host, Mike Gull, and as always, I'm joined by...
It's constantly changing.
Yep.
But I'm Joshua Marvell. Today we're going to be talking about Spaceballs.
Woo! And as
movie.
always, yes, we're joined, as opposed to the TV show, and as always, we're joined by Meteor co-owner Champ Ian. All right.
Hey,
so
thanks for having us.
Did you guys know Ian hosts a movie night at Meteor every week?
No.
Did you know that, Josh?
No.
Yep, every week.
I had
Every
a
week.
sneaking suspicion that this is a thing that I did.
Awesome. Yes, it's true you do.
Sneaking suspicion.
And we watch
right.
comedies, we watch dramas. Well, never dramas, never. Sci-fi, fantasy,
Okay.
action.
I guess we
cartoons.
haven't done really a drama
Never done
yet,
a dramedy.
hey?
Never done a dramedy, nothing like that. Nope.
Maybe we should do that.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, we can look into that.
Does Freddy Got Fingered count as a
Freddy
drama?
Got Fingered is what we consider like a Shakespearean tragedy,
Right.
so it's not quite a drama.
Okay.
A tragedy in the sense that we have to sit down and watch it at some point, and that's tragic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based on that trailer, I don't know how fun that's going to be. But anyway, we don't want to speak ill of our movie choices here because tonight we watched Spaceballs. If you're watching this review, you know all about it. It's a Star Wars parody.
Yep. From 1987.
See, we like to talk about our experience
Yeah.
seeing this movie. Now, I grew up in the 80s, and this movie was a regular feature on VHS. You know, I think all the kids in my neighborhood kind of had it, so we kind of watched it over and over again. Obviously, we were all Star Wars fans, so I saw it many, many times as a kid. Champion, what's your experience with Spaceballs?
Yeah, about the same. As a tween, I probably saw this movie about 20 or 30 times. In fact, early on, I saw this movie far more often than I saw Star Wars.
Interesting.
So in many ways, Star Wars came after this and sort of helped to fill in some of the blanks of like, oh, that's where that joke comes from.
So you actually saw this before Star Wars?
I saw Star Wars before this, but I think I saw Star Wars initially when I was too young to really appreciate it.
Gotcha, okay.
And beyond that, like it never really came up again. I was more of a Star Trek guy. But this was played over and over and over again. And I knew what it was a parody about, but a lot of the references kind of went over my head because I just didn't have that familiarity with the original property.
Interesting. Josh, what's your experience?
So my dad actually was not a big Star Wars fan. And by not a big Star Wars fan, he wasn't a Star Wars fan at all. He was a Trekkie. So he was kind of in the like anti-Star Wars camp. Luckily for me, though, my dad is a very big Mel Brooks fan. So I actually did watch this movie a lot growing up as well. Over and over again on VHS. It was the most, I think, family friendly of the Mel Brooks films, maybe. So it was the first one I was introduced to, and then later on, slowly introduced to more and more and more. And then it was constantly one that we revisited. So, this was a staple for me as a kid as well.
So now let's get down to the nitty gritty. So we watched this at, what was it called? Snack Barbecue, Spiffy Cinema. Spiffy Cinema. And that was probably the last time I saw it before tonight. Okay. Before that, it was probably several years before that. But so 2 viewings ago, I realized, I hate to say it, I actually don't think this movie is particularly funny other than Rick Moranis.
Interesting.
That's my new take on it. I love watching it. I think it's amusing. I think it's so much fun. I want to like live inside that Winnebago, explore space. Like I love so many things with this movie, but I just don't think that the actual humor is particularly great.
Interesting.
Like, okay, as we were watching the movie tonight, because to be honest, I like to get a vibe for the room, okay? And I was sitting next to you. I noticed that you weren't laughing that much.
Really?
So I thought maybe Joshua Marvell's not seen this movie before, and he's going to give it a G.I. Joe the movie-esque negative review. But
no, it was probably because I was like mouthing the jokes,
okay.
like under my breath, maybe. But no, I really do like this movie. I think it's pretty funny. I think, but I also did grow up with this movie, so I do feel like a lot of the jokes I really liked as a kid, and now watching it, I also have like nostalgia for a lot of the jokes. But I don't know. I think that a lot of the humor still holds up today.
Okay.
What were some of the things? I know. Like maybe some of the like.
Well, I mean, and the thing. Okay, let's put it this way. I just think like Mel Brooks. Okay, because I've seen a lot of his movies. I've seen Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, the Hitchcock parody, and I just don't think he's. Partly because that sense of humor I think is outdated. Like from let's call it 60s, 70s humor. To me, I think Peter Sellers really holds up. Some other people that I can't think of right now really hold up. But there's also a kind of, I don't know, there's an obviousness in like the way that they kind of hit you over the head with punchlines that just doesn't work for me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what, too? I haven't watched this movie in a little while. And while watching it, I felt like it was almost written as if it were a play. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Like even how like the jokes are written and even played out. The fourth wall breaking feels very much like they're playing towards the audience. Like I don't, the staging a lot of the time feels kind of like a stage presence. It has like a different feel to a lot of other movies, particularly comedies. Well, I feel like
I'll say I don't know Mel Brooks' whole life story at all, but that could be like a old school vaudeville-ish type thing, and which is partly an advantage because he knows how to work an audience, but it also to me makes the humor a little bit too broad sometimes.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's why I love theater, but with comedy I find theater is a little bit too broad with its comedy. Ian, what do you think about the humor in this movie?
Well, I don't know if you recall during our very brief Blues Brothers review that I made a comment that I watch the movie that we're going to screen in advance just to kind of, get a feel for it. I had to find a better copy of this one for tonight, and I was watching it to check it out, making sure it was okay. A couple days ago by myself, and I'm watching this film and I'm thinking, oh no, this movie does not hold up at all. I'm 20 minutes in and I haven't laughed once. What is happening? I loved this movie. Years ago, when I was at Pogo's, a friend of mine, Caitlin Shaw, if you're watching this podcast, I know you're not, we were talking about Mel Brooks movies, and I said that Spaceballs, and it was at the time my favorite Mel Brooks movie, just because I had such a history with it, growing up. And she looked at me like I was an idiot and said, no, this is Mel Brooks' worst film by far.
Interesting.
And these are the ones that are good. You're an idiot. I'm sorry, Caitlin, that I argued with you, because I feel that this is one of Mel Brooks' weaker films. It had very much a sense of him just kind of phoning it in. It was a Star Wars parody that was made 10 years after Star Wars.
Yes.
It didn't really feel, it didn't have a lot of energy to it. It just sort of felt like a wet bag of a movie for a lot of it. Now, there were parts of this film that are brilliant, and there are jokes that I picked up on just today. Some of the best jokes in the movie, right? I forget who we were talking about on last call, but when they're going through all the Mel Brooks movies in the rentals, like, holy shit, that's genius.
I never noticed that either.
Jokes like that,
like right under it, there's like all of the Rocky movies, but it goes to like 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it's great.
And the merchandising angle, Yogurt, he's merchandising the film, put the film's name on everything. And from that point in the movie, every scene pretty much has got some Spaceballs merchandise. So you just sort of, you flipped it there and you turned on this new joke, and it's great. But a lot of it just felt very, I don't know, childish. Very lowest common denominator.
Yes.
And those jokes worked for me when I was 11, but they're not going to work for grown-up me so much.
Ooh, okay. So I agree with everything you just said. Now, I have to give, I'm going to sidestep. I have to give credit to Mel Brooks, because what we saw with Airplane, which was Abrams. Is it Abrams, Zucker, Abrams?
Yep.
Geniuses. They did Airplane, then they did...
no, it was two Zuckers and an Abrams.
Two Zuckers, yeah. Holland, Dozier, Holland. Okay. No, they did Airplane, then they did Top Secret, which we haven't watched yet, but we're going to. And then they did Naked Gun, and then they did stuff that we don't remember. Those were the three masterpieces. And then after that, it was the Wayans brothers. Remember, they did Scary Movie, and they did all, like, Not Another Teen Movie, all that stuff. But before that, it was Mel Brooks. So he was the master of satirizing specific genres in films. So I appreciate what he was doing.
And he did it in such a masterful fashion that, like the Three Amigos changed.
Well, Three Amigos, no, that...
Or no, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Okay. Three Amigos is awesome. Yeah. But yeah, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles destroyed the cowboy genre because it was such a send up that they couldn't make another Western after that. It was done.
Well, and most people from the slightly older generation love Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein. Yeah. Those are the go-tos, right? Younger generation is Spaceballs. But I gotta say, I agree with Ian. You want me to give you examples?
Yeah, sure. No, I think I agree with you. And I also agree with it being the weakest of the Mel Brooks movies. I think that pretty much every single other one is better than this one.
And I still have a fondness for this movie. I still enjoyed watching it. Right. And when we had people here laughing, I was like, I relaxed. And I enjoyed the film more as a result. I wasn't looking over my shoulder thinking, everyone thinks that we're idiots for screening this movie.
Okay, like Pizza the Hut.
Dumb.
Okay, Jabba the Hutt, Pizza the Hut. It's cool, but it's kind of like, it's the kind of joke you would see in a late night talk show, and you'd kind of go, ha ha ha, and that's it. And then you move on to the next thing. But I feel like a lot of the jokes are like that. Like him materializing with his ass backwards, or his whole, that's not funny. Him giving up and walking into the next room, that is funny. Right. That is legitimately funny. And I feel like the whole movie was like that. It was like back and forth, back and forth. Like, hey, have you combed the desert? And they're just dragging a comb. Okay, that's a dad joke. We're gonna jam their frequency, and it's a jar of jam. That's a dad joke, right? The opening spaceship was funny, like because the whole audience is laughing, and all it is
it's nothing happening.
It's just a model with music, and the music is actually almost interacting. Like it's the music.
The music is the joke at that point, because you get this great swell of da da da, and you think, oh, that's it. And then it comes back again one more time, quiet again. It's like, oh, you're starting from the very beginning.
Yes.
The fact that there's like a pause too in between the music where it just like has to restart. Like it feels like somebody ran over and had to flip the record over. You know, it's
totally.
But it's also a great send up of the opening scene from the original Star Wars, because the enormous Star Destroyer is used with great effect in that scene.
That is one of the better jokes, because it specifically satirizes Star Wars. Like, I wish they would.
And specifically satirizes a specific part.
Yes, exactly. I wish, for example, because Family Guy, for example, did Star Wars parodies too, which were okay. But I wish this movie would have taken things that we all laugh at. Like, I was going to go to Toshi Station to get some power converters. Like, maybe exaggerate that joke. Or things, or like this, I'm just spitballing. But like the stormtrooper hitting his head, or that's not even funny. But like things that we laugh at as Star Wars fans, I wish they would have fixated on them and exaggerated them to make jokes out of them. But if you really think about the whole movie, it's kind of like you said, Ian, they're almost phoning it in. Everything's very broad.
It's almost as though Mel Brooks made this movie without really understanding Star Wars.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you really have to have an intimate understanding of what you're doing a send-up on in order to do it right. Otherwise, you're just, you like this part of the movie? I don't know.
Right. I agree. Okay, now, but let's talk about the actors in the movie. I think this is going to help us zero in on some of the issues. Okay, yeah. So the protagonist is Bill Pullman as Lone Star. Now, I want to point out that this is a combination of Luke and Han, which is interesting, very interesting to me. No one else thinks it's interesting. I do.
Bill Pullman might find it interesting.
I actually think he might be the weak link of this cast. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, it's interesting that he really doesn't have like much of an arc you know, like for being our main character, like he's kind of the scoundrel, but there's nothing that like makes him change. Like he, I guess, falls in love with the princess, but it's so quick. It's like at the beginning of the movie, he falls for her.
But okay, you know, besides, I'm not even thinking about the arc. I'm thinking about, is he funny? Like like Bill Pullman before that movie, was he known as a comedian?
I'm assuming not. No,
I don't know anything that he's been in.
He was in Lost Highway.
He was also the president in Independence Day.
Oh,
and I mean, he's a mid-tier actor. No offense, Bill, but he's just not like, if you think about '87. There's probably other people that could have had in that role that would have been better, I think. Right?
Probably, yeah.
I just think that he's like, to me, like John Candy's John Candy. Mm-hmm. So maybe it could have been Chevy Chase. Maybe it could have been even Dan Aykroyd. Right? Like these guys were around. They could have got one of those big Saturday Night Live guys to be
I think you landed on the right one with Chevy Chase. That would have been...
Yeah, I mean, he's the pinnacle. Like there's no one better. Yeah, he would have been the best. So yeah, I think it starts with Bill Pullman. He's just a weak lead actor. Like he's not a comedian. He's not... And in the movie, he's awkward. He's not really funny. So that takes me out of it.
Yeah. And then the very, very first scene that we see him in, he's doing a joke on John Candy's character's name. Barf. And he's trying to make it look like he's throwing up. Why? Because the guy's name is Barf? No, it's dumb. It's dumb.
I agree. It's dumb. Josh? Any kind words about Bill Pullman?
He's fine.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think... I think why he doesn't work is he does enough comedy where he doesn't feel like the straight man. And I think maybe that's where it falls flat for me. Like, I think that they want us to buy that he's the straight man and not really believing a lot of this stuff or being the punch for the jokes, but it doesn't work, I feel like. You
know, you're right. It's like you either have to be the funny guy or the straight man, but since he's not really a comedian, he's kind of playing both, but not really either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Chevy Chase in Vacation is a buffoon, but he is trying to be cool, so that's what makes him funny, right?
Yeah. Oh, you made a great point there, and it's just sort of clicked in that this movie doesn't have a straight man.
Yeah. Or Bill Murray. I mean,
Bill Murray would have been another one
because he doesn't really do like jokes.
Yeah.
Like his jokes are like reacting to everybody else, right? Most of the time.
And Bill, you're right. Like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters is the straight man to all the absurdity. Dan Aykroyd,
and he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a genius. But Dan Aykroyd is the little kid, like he's excited about hunting ghosts, and Bill Murray's just like whatever. And you need someone like that in this movie, but there isn't one, right?
No. And Bill Pullman isn't really good enough at anything that he's doing.
Yeah.
His comedy isn't good enough to be funny. His being a straight man isn't good enough to allow him to be a foil for anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, this movie needs something to ground it.
Yep. So then we've already mentioned John Candy. Now John Candy's always good. He's always John Candy. Yeah. He was, I mean, he's not the funniest guy, but everyone loves John Candy. I think he was perfect in this role. What do you think?
I think that his physical comedy in this is great, actually. Because he has some funny, like, written jokes, but in just the way that he moves and the way that he delivers his lines, it's great. Even just him, like, walking, you know, it's so, like, comedic and alive. The big statue, like, flattening his foot. It's like
that was funny. Yes,
it's ridiculous, but he sells it. Like it's hilarious. So no, he's fantastic. He's one of the best parts. I think he's the highlight, one of the highlights of this movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think, champion?
I'm not going to go quite that high.
Okay,
right? He was good, but we know John Candy is capable of more than this, and it feels as though he's kind of mailing it in too sometimes. I agree that the physical comedy is the best stuff that he did, but his lines...
Well, okay, so you mentioned 11-year-old humor. The fact that his name's Barf, That to me is 11-year-old humor. Like John Candy has been in really good roles like Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But this role, I don't think it's that he phones it in. I think it's that it's a little bit beneath him. It's like his material wasn't good enough for him.
You're right. You're right. Sorry, John Candy's ghost. Yeah. No, you're right about that. His deliveries, he had some good ones, right? And the fact that his name is Barf is very childish until it pays off at the very end. You know, what's your full name? Bartholomew.
Yeah.
All right, worth it for that line.
Sure.
But he wasn't really given much.
Sure.
Yeah, this is not John Candy's finest hour.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The movie is better for having him in it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You're right. So we're just going to go down the list of our heroes here.
Okay.
So who's next on our list?
Daphne Zuniga.
Okay.
Zuniga.
I don't honestly think
Princess Vespa.
I've seen her in anything else.
No,
I thought she was great.
Okay, let's see.
I thought she was actually really good. Like to the point that, and this is what I like about like certain actors. Like we talked about Uma Thurman in Batman Forever, where I said that if you took her out of that movie and put her in a serious Batman movie, she'd work. Just like Frank Gorshin would work in a serious Batman movie. I think she could be a Princess Leia in a serious Star Wars movie. I actually think she was really good. What do you think?
And I think that makes her great in this movie too, because she for the most part, she does just play a princess. Like she's not playing a funny role, but I think most of the time when they give her the odd joke and she's not the butt of the joke, she's actually really funny.
Yep.
I think when she's singing in the cell is hilarious.
It is.
I love that. It's great. And it
is funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so when they give her like really fun things to do, I think she does a really great job. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Champion.
Yeah. When she was Ramboing it up and killed all those stormtroopers that shot her hair. Yeah. My hair. Right. She had some good deliveries too when she was fighting with Bill Pullman in the desert. She's like, "You and your dog." Yeah, she was great, and she looked the part too.
Yeah. I think she's even like a well-written character, because at the start she kind of just feels like, well, she feels like a stereotype, right? Like she feels like the damsel in distress, but at a certain point, that's the point of her character, is that she is the parody of the damsel in distress. So like all of these things that they do when it's ridiculous with like the machine gun, the Rambo thing, but it's like it's spinning that, and it's fun. Yeah.
And Carrie Fisher is obviously iconic as Princess Leia, and that character, that archetype, like Lucas, he zeroed in on it and he did it perfect. But now I feel like this actress, I'm not going to say she one-upped it, but it's like she's even, because it's not quite satire, it's just like even more so of the same thing. Like when you look at her and her face and her delivery, like Bill Pullman is trying to act like I'm going to be the cool guy.
Right.
But this girl is the spoiled princess. Like she has the face and the delivery and everything about it. Like it's perfect, right? So yeah, she's great.
Did either of you get in the scene in the desert when she and Bill Pullman were talking about love? Did you get any I really hate sand vibes?
No, no, I did not. No,
it didn't cross my mind, but
it sort of clicked into my head. It's like, oh my goodness, is this where George Lucas got the dialogue from?
Yeah. Well, I wish. Okay. Side note: Mel Brooks, please make Spaceballs 2. Anyway,
it's in production. Yeah. I believe.
But I heard that after Force Awakens. Is it real now?
I believe so.
But
yeah.
Is it Mel Brooks?
It's Mel Brooks and.
Please say Lonely Island. Please say Lonely Island.
No, Josh Gad. I think it is.
Whatever. I'll go see it. I'll go see it. Okay, who's next on our list of cast members here?
We have Joan Rivers as Dot Matrix.
Okay, I don't love Joan Rivers, but her voice was perfect for this role. I thought.
Yeah, I love her voice, but I feel like she was maybe the character that was like the least
important,
funny, and least important. Like, I don't know.
Actually,
she kind of felt.
I think Bill Pullman was less funny.
Okay.
So Joan Rivers was like the second least funny.
Well, I don't think Bill Pullman really had any chance to be funny, right? Joan Rivers did. And I think that the fact that they cast her really fell flat. Like I think that the idea on the surface, let's cast Joan Rivers as the C-3PO robot, hilarious on paper, but it didn't execute.
Didn't do anything.
I think the reason why is because she was not in the costume.
Right.
Like she just did voiced in post-production. And I think that if she were to have been there to be able to kind of like ad lib and be like physically like reacting to things, I think maybe her as this character would have paid off more.
She can't play off her co-stars at all if she's just adding her lines on a soundstage.
It really does sound like she's just reading off of a script. Like I don't think that any of her lines feel special.
That's a good point.
In the moment.
Other than her voice, there's nothing there. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Unfortunately, because I do like her. Her voice acting is great. It's a really fun robot voice. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We're gonna. Who's after Joan Rivers? Who we got?
Rick Moranis.
Okay, stop the presses. I will never say any ill word about Rick Moranis. He somehow in Ghostbusters was the funniest actor. Even funnier than Bill Murray. In this movie, he's clearly the funniest actor. An important fact I learned from reading about him in Ghostbusters. Did you know when he does a movie, he always rewrites all of his lines? Now, I don't know for a fact that he did that in this movie, but the fact that his lines are all better than anybody else's, like him playing with the dolls.
Yeah, brilliant.
I can only guess that was his idea. Combined with the fact that his face is so funny, his expressions are funny, the way he moves his lips is funny.
The way he does like the Darth Vader voice in the thing, it almost sounds like a British accent. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah, it's fun.
And then also the fact that he's kind of short and diminutive, like. He's above and beyond. Champion, what do you think?
The fact that he keeps his mask up 80% of the time is great. Is perfect. Funny. And he's got these round glasses and he only flips it down when he wants to be serious.
Yes.
Such a good bit. Yes. Such a good bit. And was that Mel Brooks or was that Rick Moranis himself?
Good question.
And when they're in the desert and now he's on safari.
I forgot about it. It was so fucking funny.
And he's wearing shorts.
I know.
It's great.
I wish everything was that funny, right?
Yeah, even that has like the little like thing so you can use the binoculars. Yes. Like it's great. And you know what too? I think a lot of the jokes in this movie feel they're like really, really slow burns, like the barf thing, right? It's like this. They named a character for a tiny little joke at the end of the movie that is barely a joke, right?
Yeah.
But it's almost the opposite with the safari helmet. I feel like they could have milked that and had him in like different like helmets for different things that he was doing. But I think it's almost funnier that it was a one-off thing where he just all of a sudden shows up in a safari helmet.
It wasn't almost funnier. It is way more funny. The fact that it was just this one other helmet and that it wasn't mentioned
ever. You're right. I agree. Just one other helmet. It's like the opposite. It's so funny. I love it. And just okay, so like he obviously plays a lot off of that other guy, his like second in command, whatever he is.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders,
played
who's like
by
pretty
George
funny.
Weiner.
But whenever they're in a scene together, Rick Moranis is on another level. I think, right?
There's only one scene where Colonel Sanders sort of upstages him, and that's where Dark Helmet is using the shorts on the first guy.
Yes,
and he's just kind of like
That was really funny. Yes, that was genius. I was laughing at that. Yeah. So obviously Rick Moranis, and also the fact that not only is it funny that when he has his helmet up, he's just talking normal, but when he has his helmet down, it's kind of funny that his voice is so muffled because that's what David Prowse would have sounded like on set on Star Wars, which is part of the humor, that muffled voice, right? Anyway, okay. I mean, we could talk about Rick Moranis all night, but we have to talk about. Is there anyone else we should talk about as far as actors?
Mel Brooks.
Oh, well, I guess we should talk about the director and writer of the movie. Yeah. You know what? I mean, even though I said that I didn't think this movie was that funny, he's so appealing. Yeah, he is funny. He's lovable, right? Like he was great as Yogurt and the president.
I mean, the president doesn't always. He has a lot of jokes, but even when they don't land, I'm still laughing a little bit just because Mel Brooks is so charming.
Yes,
there is something so likable about him. I love him in this movie.
See, when I was criticizing old humor, he's the good part of that old humor. He just has that kind of face. You laugh at everything he says, even though it's not genius. You just kind of, because he's so likable.
The physicality of everything. Yeah. The way he does like the little salute too.
Yes.
Like he does it so often. Like it's so
I know.
like
You're right.
I don't know. Yeah. Everybody else does it in the movie, and I don't laugh. Yeah. You know what I mean? They do it throughout, and I'm only giggling when he's doing it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. He's very self-aware. He's very self-aware. He knows exactly what character he's trying to play. His little mustache is just, I think that's the proof right there that this is exactly the character that he's portraying. He knows that he's a silly, I don't know, dystopian president, mustache twirling villain. Yeah, perfect. And then Yogurt. The whole merchandising thing, I think, is genius. I think it's genius.
Yeah, it's really great.
And you know what's funny? Well, we'll talk about this more later, but I actually thought he looked cool as Yogurt.
He kind of felt like a Star Trek alien, the way that like the makeup and like I feel like gold paint on his face felt very like Star Trek for some reason.
I can see that. Yeah,
but I mean, all of the special effects in this movie were actually really good, like surprisingly held up. Like there wasn't one where I was like, ooh.
Should we jump to special effects?
Yeah, we can jump to special effects. Is there anyone left that we have to talk about?
There is George Weiner, who was the Colonel Sanders. He was pretty funny.
Pretty good. He was pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, especially playing opposite Rick Moranis. Yeah. If you can still be funny, that's and like have standout moments, that's pretty great. So yeah, he was fun.
He seemed comfortable in Rick Moranis' shadow as well.
Yes, definitely.
Dick Van
Patten. I thought he was perfect.
Yeah,
he's great. I think I know him from, was it 8 is Enough? Some 60s sitcom. I think that was him.
I think I only know him from this.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. He's awesome. Like for what he is, he's perfect in that role, I think.
So yeah, it's such a ridiculous character. I especially love him when he is playing the fake king. And he's like luring Princess Vespa out, and that was like, "Would I lie to you?" And he's like, "It's so fun." Yeah,
you know that scene was actually really good because it wasn't a parody of Star Wars. It was like what was it? There's
a parody of like a bunch of different movies.
Planet of
the
Apes,
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. So that's probably a movie I just didn't catch, but I was like, that's actually a cool scene. That was like a cool idea.
Yeah.
Anyway. What do you think of Dick Van Patten?
He was fine. Fine. He fit. He looked comfortable wearing the silly fairy tale king outfit. He was believable. He was likable. Yeah. You just kind of want to pinch his cheeks a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
He was good. Yeah. So there's one other actor I want to talk about because I thought he was possibly the second funniest person in the movie, and that was the guy that played the priest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say John Hurt.
No, we're going to talk about John Hurt in a minute. But the guy that played the priest was actually like...
he's pretty funny.
He, to me, is like, I wish what more of the characters were like. Like, whoever... is he on the list there?
Let me see.
He was like...
the minister, so I'm assuming Ronnie Graham.
Okay, I don't know anything about this guy. He had a tiny part, but he, like... nailed it.
Yeah.
You just look at him and you laugh at everything he says. He has a specific little tiny goal. I want to get to this fucking wedding. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you? You know what I mean? Like, he's just gold. What do you think?
His character, I think, was the most Mel Brooks movie-ish character.
I kind of see that.
He's the one character that stood out. He would, like, in a similar role, have been perfect in any other Mel Brooks movie. Like, he would have fit in.
I can see that.
A bunch of these other characters, most of the leads wouldn't work in a different genre type film. But this guy, the perfect caricature of a priest, I think he worked perfectly. And the fact that he got angrier and angrier and angrier as the wedding kept getting interrupted. Perfect.
Perfect. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, he's fun. And he really is only right at the beginning and then right at the end. I mean, I feel like he really only has like one line at the beginning of the movie that's like...
Couple, yeah, one or two, yeah.
Saying like, here she is, the princess. She's walking up to the aisle and she's running out the door.
Yeah, that was,
and
that was legitimately funny. That was funny, yeah.
And then at the end he comes back and he's great.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Good, you're married. Kiss her.
Yeah. Like it was great. Yeah, like that's what I want. Like, I want all the actors and jokes to be that funny, right? Like he gets it, I think, more so than most of the other actors.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the special effects, because Josh mentioned they're actually really good.
Yeah.
The opening giant spaceship is good. What's her name? Joan Rivers, like,
for the most part, it's good.
It was fine.
And I also think too, like some of the moments where it doesn't look great, it's like part of the joke.
Sure.
Like the fact that she has like a cheap like gold wig on is funny. There's moments where you could just like see the bottom of her feet.
Okay,
and
I didn't even notice that.
The costume around, and whoever is in the costume, you can see like the running shoes.
Oh wow!
And it's just like facing the camera straight on. You know, it's
okay. There was a moment where I noticed that John Candy was wearing Adidas or Converse.
Yeah, right. It's
was that a joke? Was that like part of the joke, or I don't even know?
Yeah, I guess so. Like,
well, his feet spilled out of them.
Okay. So it's
his
like
costume
whatever.
Into the shoes.
But I think this is like. This almost goes back to the charm of a movie like Tank Girl, where it's like, there's a kangaroo guy. It's like they're on a plane. I don't care. There's a charm to that. They're flying around in a Winnebago, and I just don't even care. I accept it all, right? It's just so much fun. And the special effects, like, of the ships, they're good. What else was there?
The transformation of the metamorphosis of the ship into the maid
was actually good.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
And then when the vacuum is sucking up the air,
it was good.
It's really good. Like,
I agree.
Like the smoke effects of it, of it actually getting like sucked up, and then the shots of like the snow just getting sucked up from the mountains and the trees getting shot up, like. That genuinely still holds up today. Like you could use that in a movie today, and it would be great. You know, there's a lot of that. The stuff of even the Winnebago flying around, because it's not all just models. There's definitely shots where it's a 3D model like turning around.
Okay,
and to me looks like the model does.
Yeah,
it's really
it never
great.
Stood out to me as being bad. I thought it was great.
A lot of the sets were great too. I really liked the Spaceball one, the bridge set.
Yeah,
It looked very, very clean and very Star Warsy and very like nice tech, right? Like it didn't look stupid. And even the joke tech, right? The Mr. Coffee and the Mr. Radar.
I know, it looks fine.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, and it had that. Sort of a Star Warsy feel to it.
You know what too, like even down to the design of like how certain things work is like really fun. The maid thing is really funny. I love the finger actually flipping on the switch is really fun. The fact that all of the escape pods are out of the crown.
I like that detail. Yes, like, I love that detail.
And like as they're shooting out, you can see the spikes like boom, like
that's attention to detail.
Again, it's a comedy. Like it's not about the special effects or making this feel like a real sci-fi movie, but they put in the effort to make it look good. And it works, I think. You know, I
totally agree. Even like the sort of Indiana Jones-ish part where they see the statue of yogurt, like that looks good. Yogurt looks good, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
And so,
even the way that they shoot it, like that's very Wizard of Oz when they're going to see the wizard, and the four of them are lined up and they're linking arms and they're in like they're stepping in time and everything, and one of them gets scared and turns around and they grab, like it's even the way that it's shot, I think is really fantastic at times. Yeah, it's fun.
Champion, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Some shots that stuck out to me in terms of cinematography. A lot of the stuff in the desert good camera angles there.
Sure.
When the dinks are introduced, and you have that a similar shot to the Jawas, and they're sort of silhouetted on the horizon. Really, like you're putting some attention to detail into this.
And they were in a real desert, let's be clear.
Oh, yeah.
But then there was other insert shots with Rick Moranis and the other guy that were on a stage.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that too.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll accept it all.
Yeah.
So I think it's like that charm of that we don't have as much anymore because of CGI. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I want to see practical. I want to see you on a stage. I don't care, right?
Rick Moranis' speeder with the mirror along the bottom.
Yes.
If you're looking for it, you can see it, but childhood me never saw that.
Right,
but also, too, I feel like it was a little bit intentional because that's how they did the speeder in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, really?
Yeah,
okay.
They had the mirror, or what they did in some shots for Star Wars. Now we're just talking about Star Wars. But they put Vaseline on the camera lens.
Awesome.
To blur underneath.
So smart.
So they framed it so the speeder was right above where the Vaseline line was.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
everything below it was blurred. So that like effect of it looking like gas hovering, that's just Vaseline and the camera's moving.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think a lot of it is also almost like a love letter to Star Wars at the same time with the way that they filmed the movie.
So that's the thing is, I think we've just decided or figured out there's a lot of things that, because me and Ian accused it of being phoned in, and maybe it's a phoned in parody, but it's a good movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I think with a lot of what Mel Brooks does, I think that every single one of his movies feels like he enjoys that thing.
Sure.
With Blazing Saddles, it's a good Western movie on top of it being a parody. I think that this Spaceballs is a little bit weaker, but I think that the stuff that they do in the genre is actually really well done. Even though some of the comedy is flat or childish,
sure,
especially for today, I think that it's still a kind of this like love letter, this nod to sci-fi and Star Wars and all of these other fantasy films. I mean, even down to the matte paintings are great. When they're the castle on Druidia is great. Yes. Like, I don't know if that is something that is reused from another movie or if that is a brand new design and painting just for this, but the Winnebago like flies around the thing and it looks great.
It does. Yeah, I agree.
So we're picking up on more and more and more things that suggest this movie wasn't phoned in. I don't know. I still feel that the script was very, very weak.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different people that work on a movie, and not everybody has to phone it in. If your script is a little bit lackluster, it doesn't mean the people that are doing the special effects are going to mail their end of things in. And they may have been very proud of what they were doing. And I don't know.
So it's almost like maybe Mel Brooks was not the right person to write the script, but everyone else involved was maybe more.
It may have been a matter of Mel Brooks not really understanding Star Wars, not really appreciating Star Wars, but getting good people around him to work on this movie. Like, I don't know how to do this. You do this.
Yeah.
You've done a Star Wars.
Yeah. In fact, now that you mention it, what did he do after Spaceballs? Did he do anything?
I don't know. I guess you can find out here.
Did he do one of the vampire movies, like Vampires Dead and Loving It, or was that him?
Oops, I
We're gonna find out, folks. Vader. This is the part of the episode where we look at our phones, go on Google, and we do research. But if you're watching right now and you're looking for something
Pokemon?
to do, feel free to recommend any other Star Wars parodies to us. We mentioned Family Guy. Are there any other really... Muppet Babies did a good Star Wars parody.
Really?
If you watched Muppet Babies, they did a parody of A New Hope.
I vaguely recall something like that.
And you know what's funny? Is that when I was a kid, since I knew, just like Josh did, that Return of the Jedi was the best Star Wars, I was surprised that Muppet Babies only satirized A New Hope. They did not even touch Empire or Jedi.
Interesting, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
And how long ago, like how long after?
Like this was probably 85, around-ish. Yeah. Anyway, well.
So Dracula Dead and Loving It was 95.
Okay.
Robin Hood Men in Tights is 93.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Life Stinks. And then looks like that's about it. They did do a History of the World Part 2, which really sucked.
I heard it was terrible.
It's awful. And it also ruins the joke of the title of the movie being History of the World Part 1.
But here's the thing. Wait.
Part 2 of the history of the entire world.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
So Mel Brooks is still alive.
Yes.
In this movie, he is an elder. Like
I know.
Wait, that was 40. How old is this guy?
He's
like
in his 90s for
hell?
sure. Yeah.
Is he going to
Let's
make
see how
another
old he is.
Spaceballs movie? What?
Well, I'm assuming he wasn't really in History of the World Part 2.
Okay.
He was.
Yeah, he might just be like.
He's 98
super,
years old.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
He's getting up there. Okay.
He's
So
only got 7 or 8 good years left.
Exactly.
You better hustle up.
Yeah, we hope he makes it to the end of Spaceballs
He'll be
2.
turning 99 this year.
Boy. Okay, well, there you go. Clean living. That'll do it for you. Okay, so there you go. There's a review of Spaceballs. I guess we can say I love it, but I don't think it's that funny. Ian, I think you're in the same boat as me.
Yeah, I have such a fondness for it.
Right.
And there are a lot of things about it that I enjoy, but I don't think it's that good a movie.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that I would suggest anybody watch this movie as a recommendation.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
okay.
I wouldn't be like, oh, you're gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
But I think that if you already like it, revisiting it, you're gonna love watching it again.
Although we did have a number of people here who were first-time viewers, and they enjoyed it.
That's true.
A lot
I think it's
more than I expected them to.
Yeah, I think it's a movie you should see, but it's just not that hilarious. It's just it's still good.
It's not the first Mel Brooks movie I would recommend.
No,
for sure.
True.
So
also,
I like it.
props to John Hurt for coming back.
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
yes.
yeah. We didn't talk about that, but
Fantastic cameo.
Can you believe it? I
so
know.
funny. And in the credits, dude, he's playing John Hurt.
Yeah,
which is really funny. Yeah.
That was awesome. Okay, there you go. Feel free to send us recommendations for any movies you want us to review. We probably won't review them, but it doesn't matter. You can still send them. Anyway.
We just want to hear.
Yeah, we just want to hear what you want.
Yeah.
We don't care, though. Thank you, Champion, for hosting Movie Night every Wednesday and sometimes Tuesday at Meteor. Coming up, we have Mystery Men. Freddy Got Fingered.
Are we going to be reviewing that? I won't be here. You guys are on your own.
It doesn't fit on this podcast. We might have to start a third podcast.
Yeah, well, last call. We'll cover it on last call.
Right, yeah.
But all kinds of other fun things are coming up. So be sure to come to Meteor anytime and just find out what's going on, right?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, sometimes
Josh,
other stuff happens.
Exactly.
Sometimes music, sometimes karaoke.
Exactly. Stand-up comedians.
Stand-up comedians.
Yeah. Josh, where can you find our episodes?
You can find all of our stuff over on our website at thecomicbooksyndicate.com. You can also find the video format versions on our YouTube channel, so check us out there. And like Mike said, let us know what you guys want us to talk about next.
And we're not going to talk about it until next time. See you later.